Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick refresher on grabbers and grabbing the reader's attention, especially as it pertains to argument essay. Um, I'm seeing a lot of people struggle with this one. A lot of us only using one type of grabber, and it's really the most important part of your essay because if you lose them in the first sentences, then they're not going to read the rest of what you have to say. Okay, so follow along on your sheet, and then we'll have practice at the end of the lesson. So grabbers are first of all, they're not just one sentence. They're the first 2 to 4 sentences of your essay. Okay, so the first thing you're thinking about is how to grab their attention. Okay, your grabber grabs the reader's attention, obviously, and makes them interested. Should make the reader think, laugh, feel emotional, get some sort of response from the reader. Okay, because if they're going to respond to what you're saying, then at least you have them engaged and willing to continue to read. And of course, it relates to the topic that you're going to discuss or what you're going to be trying to prove in this case, because it is argument. It is an argument essay. So there's 3 types. First, you can do questions. You can ask the reader a series of questions to get them thinking about your topic or your point of view, to get them thinking inside their own head, and maybe even questioning some things that they believe. You can use a short story, and I like to see more people using this because it's really can be engaging. Short story, and make up a quick real life example related to your topic. Usually those are 2 to 3, maybe 4 sentences of something quick that you make up, right? Get creative, use a lot of descriptive language, some awesome verbs to describe some action, to kind of help the reader visualize inside their head and really paint a picture of what you're trying to say. You can also use a summary, all right? And you think summary, you might think a long summary, just quickly 2 to 4 sentences summarize the 2 sides of the argument so the reader has some background knowledge on your topic, especially if it's something that like your audience may not know a lot about. Okay, you always want to know who's most likely to read this, who's your audience going to be. So giving a summary is a good way to give them that background knowledge so that they can actually understand what you're talking about. Okay, so the questions grabber here, let's go over a few examples. This first one here is for the zoos topic. Have you ever wondered why animals look so miserable when you see them at the zoo? Do you think they're actually happy in there? So the response you're looking for here is like, oh yeah, I do sometimes wonder that. They're always sitting there looking so bored. They don't really seem that happy there. So maybe this is something they had never thought about before, but now you've just piqued their interest a little bit. This one appeals to fairness. Everyone wants to be treated fairly and can get on board with treating people fairly. So why is it that CEOs make millions of dollars and fly private jets, yet fast food workers can barely feed their own children? You think that is fair? What if I told you there was a way to stop it? You also get them interested because you're kind of getting them, egging them on, saying, what if I told you? So you're kind of setting it up like what you're going to say next. So it's kind of a transition phrase there. And then the last one is the one about pencils. It's kind of more humorous, right? If you can get them to laugh or kind of chuckle a little bit, that's always a good response to get from the reader. Pencils, who's still writing with pencils, right? So if anytime you can kind of throw a little humor in there to break up the monotony of your essay, do it. Then the short story grabber, so just real quick with a lot of action on this one's about Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Obviously sports is an easy one to do the short story grabber for, and I misspelled grabber at the top there. Awesome, good job. This is the one, just again more action, scratching the back of his neck. It's about uniforms. Anytime you can kind of describe a situation that the audience whoever's reading it has probably been in. For this instance, like maybe a student who's had like the scratchy neck because of the tag on the back of the uniform shirt. Anytime you can get the audience to relate to what you're saying and say, yeah, I have thought about that, or I have been in that position, that's a good thing. You want to connect with your audience. So this one is about paying fast food workers more. This also kind of appeals to the emotions because you're kind of trying to get the reader to feel bad for Cindy. That she has to she can't go home to see her kids, so it's what's called an emotional appeal, to appeal to the emotions of the reader. And the last one was a summary grabber. Just you're just summarizing both sides of the argument quickly so that the reader feels comfortable with the issue before you go into more in-depth information and evidence later. So first one is about the cell phone issue. Just briefly explaining the two sides, the two parties. Kids say this, teachers and administrators say that. The second one here is about the zoos again. Okay. On one hand, and on the other hand, just briefly summarizing both sides of the argument. So check for understanding. Make sure that you know this. How many sentences should your grabber be? Go ahead and circle the correct answer. Yeah, it's D, 2 to 4. Okay, 2 to 4 sentences. Where in your essay does the grabber go? This should be review, but of course you know the answer. It's the first sentence of your essay, right? Right off the bat, you want to grab their attention, get them interested. So go ahead and do this practice. Okay, a student is writing an argument essay about why St. Louis should get rid of electric scooters, which we've already done this year, because they are unsafe and make sidewalks and streets look messy. Okay, so do one questions grabber, one short story grabber, and one summary grabber. Remember, 2 to 4 sentences, really grab their attention. Rewind if you need to go review the 3 types of grabbers and what the purpose is. But this is just a quick review on how to get the reader's attention and to grab their interest.